Hello and welcome from the center of Frankfurt am Main with a new review about the Canon PowerShot G7X Mark II with Alissa and me. This wonderful piece of camera will cost you around 600 bucks. What's inside? All the important specs of this product will be found on the box. You get a user manual, a charger for the rechargeable battery, which is the NB13L with its 1250 mAh. If you lose it, you pay around 50 to 60 bucks for a new one. Last but not least, a small hand strap. The G7X Mark II fits probably pretty well to all hobby photographers and bloggers. You get a 1-inch CMOS sensor with a great lens that has a focal length of 24 to 100mm, which works pretty good during low light as well with a fast aperture of 1.8 to 2.8. There are two fittings to attach a carrying strap, a micro USB port and a mini HDMI port to see your footage on TV. Beyond that, there is a small integrated flash, no electronic viewfinder and no port to attach an external microphone. The G7X Mark II features also a Wi-Fi interface. After you have successfully connected the camera with your smartphone, you will be now able to control it through the Canon Camera Control app. Furthermore, you can transfer the photos and videos to your smartphone and share them via Instagram, Facebook, mail, or just keep them on your device in a good quality. Another highlight of this great camera is the 3-inch LCD touch display. The display covers 100% and has a resolution of 1,000,000 dots, a great tool for all your vloggings. The equivalent focal length on this camera is 24 to 100mm with its fastest aperture of 1.8 to 2.8. So you get a 4.2 times optical zoom and you may use the Zoom Plus that gives you 8.4 times magnification. When you plan to use this camera during low light, be aware that the maximum exposure time is 15 seconds and the shortest one is 1/2000 seconds. You can't use the digital zoom as long as you have selected RAW as your file type. So make sure you deactivate RAW before you can enable the digital zoom. This is one of the best vlogging cameras for a long time now and for this price. Unfortunately, there is no port to attach an external microphone, but the audio quality even during windy conditions is pretty good. Of course not in a hurricane. And now exclusively for you, the ultimate vlogging test with Alissa.
Ich bin heute in Frankfurt mit The Daniel Live und Peter. Hi Peter!
Hey, grüß dich.
Wir testen heute die Vlogging-Kamera und... Was? Ach so. Und sind gerade im Schillers, wo ich mal gleich ein paar Armbänder ausprobiere. So, und damit ihr mal einen kleinen Einblick in diesen Laden bekommt, zeige ich euch das mal gerade. Hier sind super viele schöne Sachen. Wie zum Beispiel Armbänder und Taschen und das ist alles Unisex, also für Mann und für Frau kann jeder tragen. Von Ledertaschen bis auch T-Shirts bis Lederarmbänder in allen möglichen Farben. Und hier im Hintergrund sieht man auch schon so ein paar Taschen. Ich habe jetzt gerade 2 Armbänder an, ein Lederarmband in grün und ein Armband mit Perlen dran. Und hier sieht man das. Da ist auch ein super cooler Totenkopf dran, der zu diesem Laden dazu gehört.
Apart from that, you get a great video quality and a maximum frame rate of up to 60 frames a second. And because this question does appear quite often, here for you the audio test in the windy center of Frankfurt.
Wie ihr sehen und hören könnt, ist es gerade sehr windig. Das hier ist ein Mikrofontest, wie es diesem Wind wohl standhält.
You can change between the manual focus and the autofocus via the touch display on the G7X Mark II. There's an additional macro mode available in which the closest focusing distance changes down to 50mm. A great tool for everyone who loves to take photos and videos of jewelry, flowers or other accessories. During a video you can focus with a single fingertip on the screen and the camera tries to keep your subject in focus. The G7X Mark II lets you shoot full HD videos with up to 60 frames per second. If you want, you can choose another frame rate as well, for instance 25 frames per second or 30 frames per second. The maximum time for a single clip is 29 minutes and 59 seconds. Another cool feature is the integrated time-lapse tool, which can be found in the submenu of the video mode. You select the interval and the photos to be taken, and the camera does the rest for you. There's a scene mode as well, with many predefined filters for your photography adventure. You can select, for instance, a fisheye effect, HDR photos, and many other different filters are available. To do this is really easy. Just click on the filter, take a photo, and the camera does the rest for you. This works with JPEG photos only. To playback your photos and videos, you can use the mode dial on the right side of your camera, or simply use your fingers. If you have long nails like Alissa, zooming becomes more hard than doing it with your fingertips. If you plan to do video recordings with the Canon G7X Mark II and you want this blur background while filming with an open aperture, it does not work during bright daylight conditions because your footage will be overexposed. Also while taking photos, because the minimum shutter is just 1/2000 of a second. But there is a good option for you called ND filter. The ND filter takes some light away from your footage, so you will be able to film with an open aperture. If you want to shoot your friends during skating, playing soccer, or your kids in the garden, no big deal with the Canon PowerShot G7X Mark II. This camera gives you the option to take 8 photos a second with up to 19 RAW files and 30 JPEGs. Just select the option on the mode dial to let the shutter run. A fast writing SD card is mandatory. The low light performance on this camera is pretty good. I was taking these photos in the Willie James Bar in Frankfurt. If you come to Frankfurt and you want a nice snack or dinner, you should come in here. The ISO range goes from 125 to a maximum of ISO 12800. The performance in combination with the 1-inch sensor till ISO 3200 is pretty good. Even till ISO 12800 the photos still look really good, except that the colors look a bit bleached out. Last but not least important is the grip. The camera felt really good in my hand and Elissa's hands as well. Easy to hold with one hand due to the light weight, so pretty much a perfect all-rounder for vloggings and holiday trips. Now let's get to a quick conclusion. Great camera by Canon, especially for taking vlogs. The low light performance is great as well with its fast aperture and the big sensor. The camera has a great design with an outstanding build quality. Some contrasts about this camera, of course the price of about $600. There's no electronic viewfinder and the additional battery will cost you about $60, so quite a lot for such a small battery. Anyways, thank you very much Canon for this great camera. In the description below you will find a link to the product and of course some photos from this review as a download to compare them at home, of course just for private use. I hope you enjoyed watching this review in English. See you soon, and if you have any questions leave me a comment below. Bye bye.